Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 7 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Melon.
Well, wait, okay, yeah, melon, but melon is also just all melons. I know watermelon, isn't watermelon sandia?
I've never heard that.
It has a specific word.
I've heard I don't know what I've heard. It's a melon.
You've heard a lot of things.
Do you like melons?
I hate cantaloupe.
Oh, I love cantaloupe.
I hate cantaloupe in
What do you mean? It tastes like cantaloupe.
which is nothing.
You don't know it. You don't know your melons.
Now that's a t-shirt.
Well, everybody, there's no better way to start an episode than talking about melons.
Melons.
Welcome, everybody, and I've been waiting to say this. Welcome to episode 299 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes.
I didn't get it wrong this week.
Not even a little bit, and that's because you have been focused on that 300.
Episode 299 of Pero Let Me Tell You. 299 episodes.
Plus.
Well, I mean...
No, but listen, let's give ourselves credit.
We've had the Hangueando episodes. Well, welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good weekend.
Yes. It's Memorial Day weekend.
It's Memorial Day weekend, so... parrandad.
And your parrandeading should include Unseen Creatures for Pim Pam Pollo's pop-up on Saturday.
Yes.
May
Pim Pam
25th.
Pollo's having a pop-up on Saturday at Unseen Creatures. We love Unseen Creatures. We love popping up there.
Yep. And we love having you guys there to have the chicken.
Absolutely. So check Pim Pam Pollo on Instagram for our latest schedule.
Yes.
But yeah, we're 299 episodes. So our 300th episode is next week. So
Yes, sir.
we are very much looking forward to that.
It's a
Should we
treat.
tell our Pero Primos what we're doing?
I don't think we should tell them, but we should. We can give them two clues. One is that for 300, they can definitely listen to it, but they may also want to
It's going to be on YouTube.
check the YouTube.
Yes.
Because it's going to be a very hot episode.
Is that what we're telling them?
What else you got?
A very hot episode?
I mean,
Hot can go so many ways.
Right.
I mean, we could be... Last year, we recorded at the beach.
We almost died.
And we're Melbourne Beach when we were staying there. And it was so hot that our audio was distorted.
Yep.
But it made for great scenery.
it really did. Those pictures are great.
Yeah. But, do you want to tell them?
I mean, we can.
We can.
It sounded like you were being
they could look
elusive.
forward to it. So
Okay. They were being Mariah.
for our 300th episode, people, for our 300th episode, we are going to be doing the Hot Ones Challenge. So some of you probably now are like, these fucking guys are crazy. And other you are probably
You're right.
like, what is this? So the Hot Ones Challenge is this show on YouTube where they interview celebrities, and while they're being interviewed, they are having chicken wings. And each chicken wing, each round has a different hot sauce. But of course, the hot sauces start to increment in hotness and heat.
The heat index.
And it all sort of comes to head in usually wing number 6 or 7, which is the bomb. It's a very famous sauce in the show. Usually that's where people fall apart. There's a lot of viral moments that have happened when the celebrities that go on that show.
Jennifer Lawrence is probably...
Jennifer Lawrence is definitely the most famous one that went viral last year. But we did that, or we're going to do that with our good friend Darwin Figueroa from Que Vola podcast. So the three of us are going to take the Hot Ones Challenge, and it's going to be up on YouTube in addition to our regular audio format. So you guys can not only see us suffer, you could watch us suffer.
You can hear it, you can watch it, you can relive your favorite moments.
And it's funny because we were thinking it's our 300th episode. Let's do something different, something special. So what do we do? And this was
it just came to us.
What we thought was a good idea. It's fun. It was fun.
This answer was the bomb.
Exactly. It was fun. And we just can't believe that we've been here for 300 episodes.
Yeah, 7 years.
It's been 7 years. 2018 was 6 years. Wait.
This is our 7th season.
Right. But we started in 2018.
Right. But I'm saying we're in the 7th season. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I had almost waist long hair when we started.
Listen, when we started, you had long hair. You look like a mountain man with the hair and the beard. We went through a pandemic. There was
we were recording in your house.
Yeah.
Doing everything with audio wrong.
Yes. We learned how to better do virtual interviews.
We did. You became a producer because you produce all of this.
Yeah, I mean, by default, yeah. We've increased our monetization. We've gotten to fly to places as part of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yeah. We've made friends that are now family.
Yes. I mean, starting with Darwin, there's a reason he's there. It's funny because as we record this on Fake Friday, I had actually participated in a career day with an elementary school where I talked about, being a podcaster. And
wait, that's what you talked about in career day?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about advertising.
No.
And PR.
No.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I know you did I know you did career day, but I thought you were talking about PR and advertising.
No. They asked me to go and talk about podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, I'm listening just like our Beto Primos are listening now. So dime.
So it was cool. It was great. It was at Kelsey Farr Elementary. It was fun because I've also done some substituting there recently. And so I was able to at one point have the kids that I have substituted their class, I taught their class. I had second graders, fifth graders, and fourth graders. The second graders were cute, but it was kind of a wash. I started all three of them with saying, okay, who knows what a podcast is? The second graders, like one person raised their hand. So I had to explain it. And then it devolved into questions that aren't really questions. It was like, okay, I did the whole spiel. And I was like, oh, who has any questions? And they're like, oh, well, what I really want to be when I grow up is a pilot. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. Yeah. And, we've ridden on many planes as the, like I try to bring it back. And at some point I just gave up. Then I had fifth graders. They were the best.
Of course, yeah.
They were the best. They had such great questions. They asked questions like, what is the most challenging part of it? A lot of them wanted to know how much money we make. That was a question I was not expecting to get, but it makes sense for a kid to ask that, right? But what the fifth grade and the fourth grade class both asked a variation of was, are there ever days that do you always like your job? And obviously in referencing to the podcast. And I have to tell you that in both instances, my answer was, there are some days that are more challenging than others. And there's some weeks where you're working on some stuff and, especially trying to get sponsorships and all that. But the answer is yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really like this. This is something that really, like I told them, if nothing else, at least once a week for the last, 6.5, almost 7 years now, it's just once a week, an hour and a half that we get to just come here and just hang out for all intents and purposes. Right. And, I couldn't stress that enough to them, which at the end of the day was, sometimes there are things, as one kid said, like, did you know you always wanted to be a podcaster?
Well,
and I was like, well,
they didn't exist.
Yeah. Let me take you on a journey back to the 1980s, right? Like that was not
back to the 1900s.
I was like, well, it didn't exist. But then I did say, how you and I had always said we should have our own show. We should have our own show. And eventually technology caught up to us, essentially. And I told them, keep that in mind when there's something that you want to do in as a career or in life. You may want to do something that doesn't exist or you think is out of your reach at the moment, but eventually things could change and you could you could live that dream or make that thing a reality. But yeah, I mean, and every time I told them, 300 episodes, 7 years, 7 seasons, they all were like, oh, what? Yeah. Huh? How? Like, yeah, consistency.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. I hadn't stopped to think about it that way, that there's never been a day that we've recorded that I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Obviously some days you're more into it than others, and there are days we're really tired and we have a lot of things going on.
Like the day was almost live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, but there's been other days. Like, I mean, look, just a couple of weeks ago, I had I had something work related. Then I had a gathering for a project that I'm working on, something else. Then
we had Bim Bam Pollo. We did the catering. For
we
Bim Bam Pollo.
did the catering. Then when all that was done and over, we have to come back and record.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like the longest day of my life.
It started because it started at like 9 a.m.
Yes,
and it didn't end until like 1 a.m.
Yes,
yeah.
That I was like, wow, that's a lot to do in one day. But even on a day like that, I wasn't like, oh God, now we gotta go and record. Ugh.
You're tired, but you're not done with it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if we wouldn't like it. Because we've been very fortunate that we've made very great relationships and we have been able to monetize a podcast. We do make money from it. But I mean, at the end of the day, if we wouldn't be happy doing it, we would have stopped.
There's no incentive. It's not
6 seasons ago.
Yeah. Because it's not like this is paying your mortgage. I mean,
and it's funny because like I get asked a lot, oh, you guys have been around for a while now. Like, do you see the end in near? And I'm like, no. I mean,
I guess eventually.
I mean, yes, like everything.
It will.
One day, yes.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know when that is, what it is. So, pero primos, for now, we're good.
Yeah, you got us for. I would say if we are going to call it quits, it would have to mean that Bim Bam Pollo has really taken off.
Yes. And it would have to be an even number.
I was going to say.
We're not stopping in season 11.
No. You've got us at least until season 10.
Yeah. Well,
no, 10 is a nice round number. Like if we're going to end, we'll broach that topic at season 10.
Right. Yeah. We're not doing it at an odd number.
At 9.
Yeah, 9. 11.
Stupid.
Yeah. Because there's some odd numbers that are nice, like 15.
That's true, but that's because it's a 5.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So even the 5 is odd, it's sort of halfway.
Well, because you can count by 5s and it's easy when you're learning your multiplication tables.
Right. You don't count by 3s? 3, 9, 6, 12, 15, 18.
No, I do 2s.
Okay.
2s and 5s.
And you don't do 4s?
Who does 4s?
You don't do 4s?
No.
4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32.
No.
You don't do 4s?
No.
Oh.
I do 2s and 5s because.
But do you count Mississippi?
I can count Mississippi.
Yes.
Who
does that?
I don't know, but
other than Ross.
It was always communicated to me that it was like what you did when you played football.
Right.
Because I've never heard anybody be like, oh, I was playing baseball and we did 5 Mississippis before they threw the pitch.
Right. I have to tell you that as somebody who, like many people that loves Friends, I think that's my favorite episode of Friends.
Which one was that one? That's the Thanksgiving one? No.
The episode when Ross gets the tan. It's one of the last episodes of Friends. Is the same episode as when Jennifer Coolidge comes to town and she's their friend,
the former roommate
who has a British accent, that she tells Chandler, oh, you look positively ghastly. Can you believe it? I've never had any professional dance classes. I think that is my favorite episode of Friends because that's a very like sort of past episode. Like there's nothing major that happens in that episode, but like the two main storylines, which is the roommate by Jennifer Coolidge, and then the whole thing with Ross getting the tan. I mean, that has one of my favorite lines ever of Friends when he comes in and he asks Monica, where's did you get those tan? No, Monica asks him, where did he go tan? And Chandler goes, was it the sun? That is like the best. Like really my favorite moment of Friends, skit of Friends, is the transponder.
Oh, well, the TV guide. Yeah.
Chandler Bong.
The trivia. Right. Yeah.
That's episode, I'm sorry, that's season 3 or 4. Season 3 or 4. That is when they play the game that they lose the apartment. That's my favorite episode, my favorite like scene. But the rest of the episode, I'm like, whatever. I think that's the episode where Phoebe gets pregnant or is trying to get pregnant. But the one with the tan and the Jennifer Coolidge, like that episode is so good. And it's funny because that episode is never in like the best episodes of Friends.
True.
But like, let me tell you something. The last season of Friends, that's why that show was so good until the end. There's some like moments that still slap because like the moment, like the it's either the first episode from the last season or the last episode of the second to last season when they're in the resort.
Okay.
That Monica has the frizzy hair and she gets the braids with the shells.
It's a treat for the eyes
And the ears. I mean, come on. It's so good. It's so good.
My vacation with Diana Ross. That's a line there, no? Because the frizzy hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I've told you this a bunch of times, and maybe our listeners agree or disagree. The first couple of seasons of that show I watched because like everybody watched it, but looking back on them, I don't think they're that funny.
They found their groove in season 3.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
We've said this many times. I don't think any show nowadays would be allowed
to
figure that out.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that in Friends, Phoebe and Joey were funny off the bat. I mean, Chandler.
Yeah.
Phoebe and Chandler were funny off the bat. And they were always consistently funny.
They were always like the funny ones.
But in the first couple of seasons, Monica and Ross were not funny.
No, they were supposed to be the straight characters.
But by the middle to end of the show, to me, they were the funniest. They just went nuts.
Because they just embraced the crazy type A-ness. But again, you can only get that if you have a show that keeps going and you allow the characters to change.
My sandwich? You threw away my sandwich with the moist speaker. Like, so good. So good. No, not a lot of shows can like end still as funny and with the viewership that it had. Like really, they were on top of their game. And that's why 20 years later, people still watch it. It's very relevant.
Still here.
It's funny because I forgot which one of them it was, say not too long ago that if that show was done today, they couldn't do it because of the phones. Because they didn't have cell phones. I mean, they didn't have smartphones.
So they wouldn't always be together. They would just...
Right, they'd be on smartphones. Like the dynamic would be different.
That's true.
Like when they're in Central Park...
They wouldn't be talking.
Right, or some of them will be on their phones or whatever. It would definitely change the dynamic of the show.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Right. But, but we have more episodes than Friends.
And we will have many more.
Yeah, Friends that had like 250, 60 some episodes.
I'll go see.
Yeah. We have we're on 299.
Yeah, because there were 10 seasons. Every average season was about 24 episodes. So yeah.
When they asked me what my favorite episode of But Let Me Tell You is, I don't know. Because it's like a blur. I will tell you that
you remember them better than I do.
Our 21st episode was interesting because we got drunk on the air. Somehow I ended up in the balcony of my house, which I never go out on the balcony. You remember? No, we both ended on the balcony.
I remember the balcony.
It was 2 bottles of rum that we drank,
yes,
right?
It was of
Havana Club.
And
yeah, I think that's the last time I got drunk. I don't really drink. So that one is memorable.
It's nice to have that on the books, your drunkenness.
Yeah, because we celebrated our 21st. You know what's interesting about that? That we made a really big deal of our 21st episode, right? It was a special episode. We drank. We all did all these things because it's like, okay, we didn't know how many episodes we were gonna have, so we reached the landmark of 21. Let's celebrate it.
Of course. And now it's like, 150. We'll just keep going.
So anyway, what do you have for me this week? What happened?
All right. So I know we're gonna do a hard pivot here, but that's how we do it.
Back to Friends. Pivot.
So unfortunately, this week we all saw some very disturbing video of Sean Combs. I'm not even going to try to use any of his multiple names. I think for something like this, you got to use his real name. Footage from a hotel, I believe it was, of him just savagely beating his then girlfriend Cassie, singer Cassie. And I gotta tell you, I only saw a snippet of it. I didn't need to see the whole of it. That video was so it was just unnerving. It was just, I'm having trouble finding words because it was just one human being just in a rage against another human being who had zero defense at that moment. It's not even que tú diga, not that it would make it better, let me make this very clear, but it's not even que tú diga le fue para arriba, and then she was able to grab something near her and fight back. Like there was no self-defense on her end, and that just, it makes it all the more heartbreaking as it already is. And look, I know in the past we've always said until, where there's smoke, there's fire, but, until we see proof and things, I think that with this video now, we have all the proof we need that not only did this happen, because as we know, when she brought the claim in court, they settled like a week after. Mm-hmm. All these other claims now, yeah, I'm inclined to believe all of them. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I'm just inclined to be like, you know what? Yeah, after what we saw, yeah, you suffered something. I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it's the same extent as this poor woman, Cassie, but you went through something, because this is a man who clearly has rage issues and has zero idea how to keep it in check, or worse, has a lot of yes people and handlers who have essentially told him, do what you want, we'll figure it out later.
It's a combination of all those things, I think.
It's just, I mean, and I immediately when the video came out, I thought of you, because I know, as long as we've known each other, I know you've always been a fan of Diddy, but I also know who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. So I also know that you're not an apologist, right? You're not that type of guy who's like, well, but I mean, we didn't see what happened before. Like, did she hit him with a crowbar? Right. Like that type of shit, right? So I'm gonna pass it to you, because I don't even know where to start.
When I saw the video, like everybody else, I was, mortified when I saw it. And you know what I thought about? I saw that he was in a towel. That made me to believe that he was either in the shower or he was sleeping, but he wasn't, he was doing something else. Mm-hmm. And I thought, she waited for him to be in the shower or something like that, because that's the only time she had a chance to escape. Mm-hmm. Right. And just think about the mindset and the situation you have to be, that you are calculating when you can escape from someone, not leave them, escape from someone. And, the fact that he did what he did, that even when she was in the ground, he was kicking her. There's no explanation, no defense, there's nothing for that. That's just one of the lowest things somebody can do. And, at the end of the day, I think that, you could be remorseful. You could have a come to Jesus moment, and, whoever's up there or your maker can judge you. But as far as society is concerned, I think that is something that you don't come back from. And you certainly don't come back from by just going and putting an apology on Instagram. That is other level. And
that apology was half-assed.
And he did that apology because he had to do that apology.
He didn't apologize to her.
He got that apology. He did that apology because the video came out. And look, we've talked about it here many times. Yes, somebody can lie about something, and somebody can make a fabrication and all that. But I think that a lot of times these cases, especially of like extreme, like really definitive textbook abuse, whether it's sexual or physical, that is not made up, right? It's not like she was saying, or people who allegedly make this up is, because he pushed me or something. No, usually these allegations are very serious, right? And they're very, very detailed and specific, and that's not made up. And the fact that in this day and age where we know the history of domestic violence and domestic abuse, and we know the history that it's a power dynamic, the fact that we still question people or still are kind of like, well, you got to hear the both sides of the story. Look, I believe in hearing both sides of the story, but there are times where you don't need the second side of the story, because whatever his side of the story was and is, that doesn't justify what he did at all. and no matter what it is. So I mean, I think that he's done. He's not coming back from this. No. He's not coming back from this. You know, and again, as somebody who is a big fan of his, or was, you know, you have to reconcile that. You have to reconcile that somebody that you looked up to and somebody that you enjoyed their craft and their art for so many years, that this is someone that it's very, very hard. I'm talking now in terms of artistically, right, just his music. It's very hard to like listen to music again. And I think also with musicians specifically, what makes it a little bit harder is that music, I think, is a lot more personal than acting. Because like we always talk about Bill Cosby, that it's like, okay, Bill Cosby did what he did, and, you know, he went to jail and all that. Do we need to get rid of the Cosby Show? I think the Cosby Show is easier to accept insofar that it's a cast, right? You know, me personally, my favorite scenes of the Cosby Show are not with Bill Cosby. I mean, we know what they are after 300 episodes. You know, Baltimore, Maryland.
That's for you, listener.
Yes, actually, you know what? We need to say that story.
Yeah,
we need to say that story.
We do. So, do you want to say it?
No, go ahead.
So we got a DM, and I don't have my phone with me right now, so I apologize. I don't remember your handle, but we got a DM from a listener who
a couple of weeks back,
who said, you know, he's been listening for a while, loves the show, you know, all that wonderful stuff, which we appreciate. And he was asking us where it was from that we would always, like, why we would always say Baltimore, Maryland, the way that we would say it.
You've been up to Baltimore, Maryland.
Because his abuelo used to say it that way all the time as well. So, you know, they're like, my family can never figure out why they say it. It's like, you guys say it exactly like he used to say it. We never knew why. So I replied, and I was like, you know, thank you for listening, and thank you so much. I don't know if your abuelo was a Cosby Show fan, but this is why we say it.
And we sent him a clip. So,
yeah,
you know,
he said he didn't think
just in case there's some of you out there who don't know the reference. So there's an episode of The Cosby Show. I think it's like season 5. It's one of the later seasons, where Vanessa, the character of Vanessa, she goes out with her friends to see a concert of The Wretched.
The Wretched songs, The Wretched.
A band. And they go to Baltimore, Maryland, but she sneaks out and she tells her parents that she's staying at one of her friend's house down the street. And then
the house catches fire, so she gets caught in the lie.
In sitcoms. It's the house across the street or next to it that catches fire. It's on the news. They're like, oh my God, Vanessa's in the house that caught fire. And so they find out that she went to Baltimore to see The Wretched, and then at the end, when she finally makes it home, because she went to Baltimore to see The Wretched, but her tickets were stolen. In the episode. At the end, she comes back, and her mom, Claire, you know, Felicia Rashad, has, like, to me, the greatest scene ever on The Cosby Show, where she's like, Vanessa, you were out seeing The Wretched, having big fun in Baltimore, Maryland. And she says Baltimore, Maryland like five times.
Yeah.
She's like, because you were out having
big fun with The Wretched, singing The Wretched songs.
Baltimore, Maryland. It's just, we love, that is like my favorite scene of The Cosby Show and one of my favorite scenes from any sitcom ever. So you love it too. Like a lot of people love it. And you know, that's where that reference comes from. Yeah. But I have to tell you though, and we've talked about this before, we've always loved that scene. Yeah. But that scene has sort of, I would say in the last 5 to 6 years, like blown up online.
Yeah.
Like it's become a meme.
It's become found.
Yes. That people are like, on this day in 1990, you know, Vanessa went to see The Wretched in Baltimore, Maryland. Like it's become a thing now, you know, 30 years later. But you know, it's funny. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. He's not coming back from this. And I mean, look, I think that the only silver lining to this is I mean, it's a silver lining, but it's what we've already known. You have to listen to people, and they've told you that they've been a victim of domestic violence and domestic abuse. This is usually based on, well, it always is based on fact, and these are not things that people are just going to make up. If people are saying this, it's for a reason. And yeah, there's never an excuse for it ever. And just, I've seen comments online of people saying like, oh, you know, the man was possessed, give the man grace and all that. It's like, again, you know what? Let his maker be the judge of him. And, you know, I hope that he has remorse, and I hope that he learns from this, and I hope that he realizes the harm that he's caused, not only to her but to just women in general, right? I hope that he understands that, and he understands his place in that, but that doesn't mean that you forgive him. I think there's certain things that are unforgivable, and especially in the public eye. You know, I hope he learns from this, but the real victim is her, and
Absolutely.
She should be the one who we're talking about, because she's a survivor. Right. She survived this, and she had the courage to go with it publicly. Because you know what? When she went with this publicly, do you know?
Oh, she knew
the courage that it has to take to go against one of the most powerful men in music.
She knew what she was gonna find.
Did she think that was gonna go down lightly? Right. So to get to that point that you are going to go against, I mean, this is really a David and Goliath, you know, situation. Yeah, you're gonna go up against the enormity of, you know, Sean Puffy Combs and Bad Boy Records and everything that means and represents and is. I mean, you have to really believe that. Believe in yourself that you can really overcome that. So, you know,
I've seen enough Law and Order to know that her lawyers definitely sat her down and said, you will be the one put on trial here, not him.
I love that. Your Law and Order University.
Well, you know, listen, it comes in handy, and it didn't, I'm not paying a student loan.
That is true. That is very, very, very true. So do you have Memorial Day plans?
I don't think that I do, but that's also because here in South Florida, you know, we stay away from the beach on Memorial Day because that gets crazy tourists. I mean, not really. We'll probably go and do something.
I'm not doing anything because I'm taking a big trip next month. That's going to bankrupt me. So, it is. I mean, I'm going to Europe next month, Pero Primos. So
we'll hear all about it.
You'll probably be getting a couple of co-hosts. Oh, you got to co-host.
I do. Do I get one or two?
I think you got two. No, you got two.
I get two?
Yeah.
Ooh, I can mix it up.
Who are going to be the co-hosts?
I don't know. Now I have options.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
You're going to mix it. I like that. That's what you thought about. Like,
I did because whenever I try to get I purposely, whenever it's a guest host, I actually try to get a female host, just because I like
female energy.
Well, yeah, I like to mix up the dynamic, right? Because you and I, obviously, it's two guys, so I'm like, okay, well, if I have to find somebody, let me find somebody who's, you know.
Now that I said energy, why don't you try to get Beyonce?
I mean, I tried. The best I could do was Solange.
I mean, hey.
I'll take it.
What's her song? Sandcastles in the Sky?
Sandcastle Disco. I actually like that song a lot. Yeah. But with my luck, I'll think I booked Solange and Rita Ora will show up.
I mean,
I'll take it.
She's been in the Academy Awards. She's hosted great things. I mean,
let me
tell you, will only be in her repertoire.
That's right. Listen, it's a step up for us. All right. So if I get two, I'll probably do a one female guest host and one male co-host.
Okay. Maybe you could have like a group, like 3 of you or 2 of you.
Oh, we could pretend to do like The View.
That's going to involve a lot of mics.
Well, we have 3. We have 3 mics, so I can have 3 people.
Yeah. Where are you going to film it? I mean, you have the keys to my house, so
that's true. Yeah, because I'm going to do a pop up
right
Saturdays.
I mean, total. You know what you could do? Since you have access to my house, you could have sexy parties.
Yes, I'm gonna. Oh, that's what I should do. I should.
Family Guy reference there, got people.
I should. Whoever we get the guest hosts, if it's more than one, like we should just do the little like the Benny Hill type running around the house.
And it'll be like when Darian is out, when DJ's out, we're
up and down the stairs.
Sexy pates. And I'll be like, ¿Qué tú estás haciendo en mi casa? Do not leave stains.
Oh no! I'll borrow our friend's rainbow to remove the stains.
Oh my god, rainbow! I actually have a, I have.
Yes, I know, but yours doesn't work.
Well, mine is not broken. The machine broke. I just need to buy a new chamber for it. But the machine works fine. Anyway, let's. It's
because you didn't go to the rainbow meetings.
Oh my god, you people. Okay. Let's talk about this for a minute. So a couple of years ago, this is a client I had in my law practice that he I had settled his case and he came to pick up his check and we started talking and he's like, "Oh, I sell rainbows." I'm like, "You sell rainbows? Who knew? How does that work?"
Was he a leprechaun?
So Rainbow is this vacuum cleaner, right? That is supposed to be the world's greatest like vacuum cleaner because it doesn't have a bag. It doesn't have a vacuum bag. It has a chamber with water, right? So that's the filter is the water. So the water captures everything. And he's like, "Oh, I have this Rainbow and I'm going to, I sell them. I'm going to go and give you a demonstration. Do you mind if I give you a demonstration?" And like, it's no commitment to buy. Well, he came and gave you the demonstration. I bought the damn thing. And I was like, I don't even know why I bought this thing. But anyway, nonetheless, I bought the Rainbow. So one of the things you could use this magnificent Rainbow vacuum cleaner for is you could use it as an air purifier.
Okay.
Right? And they sell different scents to put in the air purifier. But I remember it came with like some sample scent of like, I don't know, rose and like all these like fruity things. And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to have my house smell like that." So they had like a very like crisp, like a fresh smell that they have that I really like. And I'm like, to buy it because they don't sell rainbows in stores. Right. It's sort of, I don't want to say a pyramid scheme, but it's sort of like you buy from seller, like,
Okay, it's
not, like somebody who, right? And then they have like people that have like little shops that they're a distributor for rainbows, and you can buy those. So anyway, I find one of these shops where I could buy the air fresheners for. And I go there and, the lady was like, "Oh, look at all the attachments you could put on the Rainbow." And I'm like, "Okay, woman, I just came to buy like something to use for the air purifier." So she, she sells me the scent I wanted. And she's like, "Oh, are you enjoying your Rainbow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay." She's like, "Well, if you want, we meet on Wednesdays where other Rainbow owners..." You're really enjoying this, aren't you? When other Rainbow owners come and we talk about the Rainbow. And I was like, "No, thanks." And then as I'm walking out, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Do these people meet once a week to talk about their vacuum cleaners? Like, are you serious? Like, is this really a topic? Is this really a club?" I mean, sure. Sure. I mean, the next day they should have, a Club de Coa de Westchester. Club.
Palo Trapear, Pizza Navarro.
Palo Trapear, yes. Pizza Navarro. Sponsored by Fabuloso.
I remember when you told me that, I could not stop laughing. I'm laughing now again because it's like, to your point, like, "Hi, welcome to our weekly gathering of the Rainbow meeting. Today we're going to talk about the attachments."
Which is your favorite attachment and why?
"I like the one that's a little suction, but also has the little brush at the end." Oh, really good. Yeah, because I don't think anybody there's very loud.
No.
These are very.
This is sort of like an SNL skit.
It's exactly an SNL skit.
Yeah. It's a real life SNL skit.
It really is.
I needless to say, I never went to the Rainbow meetings, but I think I would want to go now.
Let's find one. It's content. We can blur their faces.
I mean, I still have a Rainbow. By the way, people, rainbows are very cumbersome because they're very heavy. I don't recommend them for houses that have 2 floors. Pero verdad que limpian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're really good. They'll suck everything out of that mattress. I mean, I remember I used it on the mattress, and I'm like, oh my god, que asquerosidad. Like, what? How is all of this inside the mattress?
All the
right?
mites.
Yeah, like the first couple of weeks I had the rainbow, yo lo pasé everywhere, every inch of the house, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible, like incredible. And back then, that's when I lived in downtown, and in when you live downtown, especially by the port, you get a lot of that exhaust from the trucks.
Oh, true. That's
and from
right.
cruise ships.
Yeah.
So especially when you're really high up,
and you have the windows open.
You get that smog, and you don't even realize it until you pass like a wet wipe on like the banister of the balcony. It's like, oh my god, it's black, and it's from the cruise ships and all that. So when I passed that, el agua me salía a mí del rainbow, and it was pitch black. It's a great product. It's just expensive and cumbersome and weird.
But maybe they give you a discount if you go to the meetings.
Yeah, I should look into that.
You should. We're going to look into it. Or maybe listeners, are any of you rainbow meeting goers?
Yeah, listeners, do any of you own a rainbow vacuum cleaner and you want to tell us about your experience? Please leave a comment below.
Yeah, we could do a virtual meeting.
Don't get people
more Zoom meetings.
Don't get people carried away.
More Zoom meetings. Oh, okay. So I heard something this past weekend that it kind of blew my mind, and it's something really stupid, but I never stopped to think about it, and I made it a point to write it down. So I was watching the band Phoenix perform, and they're French, right? And they're talking.
C'est la vérité. C'est
yes, we have a lot of French on this podcast.
Oui français.
So they're speaking in English or whatever, and they're saying, oh, it's great to be at this festival because we haven't seen some of these people in so long, in so many years. He's like, oh, in France we don't have high school reunions, so this is like a high school reunion for us. Whatever. It blew my mind that high school reunions are not like this international thing. They're not. They're just American. Well, at least they're not French. I'll tell you that based on the band Phoenix. And I started to think about it. I'm like, you know what? That's such a American thing. That's such a presumptuous American thing on my end, right? Because all of our entertainment has shown us that we have a prom, we have a graduation, and we have a high school reunion. Like these are just things that happen in your homecoming. Right, your high school experience is this, and it blew my damn mind to think that doesn't exist in other cultures. At least not in the same way.
I never thought about it that way.
Right? Again, I just wanted to bring it up because I was like, it just, I never thought about that. I just always assumed that it happened everywhere.
Do they have prom?
I don't know. Now I question everything.
L'école?
Maybe they have like an end of year dance. Or maybe there's probably some cultures like it's the fucking Aborigines. Like some cultures probably have adopted since like, the whole Hollywood prom thing. They probably call it the prom now.
What do you think the Swedes do?
Lots of wooden shoes. Lots of clogging.
Sweden. Great things come from Sweden. Remember what comes from Sweden that's great?
ABBA.
Uh-huh.
Ace of Base.
Uh-huh.
Chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Sound of Music.
Uh-huh.
Wait, are they Swedish?
No, keep going.
Wait. The Swedish Chef.
Uh-huh. You're missing two big ones.
IKEA.
Uh-huh.
And Meatballs.
Uh-huh. And Volvo.
Damn it. Damn it.
And I think Legos are Swedish as well.
No, they're from Denmark. Denmark.
Okay. I mean, just IKEA alone.
Yeah, that gives us a lot of things.
The second largest wood user, wood
supplier.
No, they don't supply wood.
Fabricator.
That's wood not a word. Purchaser in the world.
Oh, okay.
Which made me think, what is the first? I think it's Georgia Pacific.
I was gonna say Home Depot.
I don't know why I know that.
Wait, Georgia Pacific. Is that a railroad?
They make paper and wood products.
They do?
Yes. And you've seen the logo 100 times. It's like a triangle with a GP in it.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
What did you think Georgia Pacific was?
Well, clearly I just thought it was a railroad.
It does sound like a railroad.
It does. It sounds like something you buy on Monopoly.
For $200,000.
Yes, you buy the Georgia Pacific.
I landed on Georgia Pacific.
Yes.
I was always so annoying when people would buy the railroad.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't like the railroad part. I just like getting hotels on Boardwalk.
Me too. I didn't like buying the railroads. It
No,
didn't
no,
bother
no.
me, but I just didn't like buying them.
Who were you always in Monopoly? I was always the same thing.
Let me guess. Were you the thimble?
Of always. How do you know that?
Well, I mean, listen. If I figured out that Hawthorne was Riverdale,
How do you know I was the thimble? I could have been the car.
No, because you don't like old cars.
No. I could have been the dog. How do you know I was the
I don't know. I
thimble?
feel like you have opinions about schnauzers.
Or la carretilla.
No, you're not la carretilla. You are many things, but you are not la carretilla.
You know I was the thimble.
It just makes sense.
That I'm the thimble?
It just makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but to know you is to know you're the thimble.
Okay. Okay, who are you?
I'm sometimes a dog. Nobody's ever la plancha.
Do you know the riddle?
About the plancha?
Pancha plancha con cuatro plancha con cuántas plancha pancha plancha.
That's not a riddle. That's a tongue twister.
Can you say it?
Okay, say it again.
Pancha plancha con cuatro plancha con cuántas plancha pancha plancha.
Pancha plancha con cuatro plancha. ¿Con cuánto plancha?
No, ya,
Pancha-
ahorita
ya
la
lo jodí.
baba.
Ya lo jodí.
Listeners, repeat after me. Pancha plancha con cuatro plancha con cuántas plancha pancha plancha.
Now I'm trying to think of the one that I know about the ferrocarril.
No, the one I can
R
never
con
remember.
R cigarro, R con R barril.
Rápido corren los carros por el ferrocarril.
Ajá.
There's one that Adela you sing que pasa USA that I can never remember.
Oh,
Had a lot of F's. You know what I've never been able to say? Never. I don't know how it goes. But then again, Cuban. My parents didn't speak English. Peter Piper pickle peppers from the pickles. Peter
I want to hear how many different variations of that you're gonna say in the next like 3 tries.
Peter Piper pick a diker from the pickle peppers from the Piper. I don't know. I can never say that stupid shit. You know what? Perejil.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
That's stupid. I'm not gonna pick a pack of pickled peppers.
Oh, pero plancha con la plancha.
No. Wait, Peter
Piper
picked
a peck.
a pack.
A peck.
A peck?
Peck.
What's a peck?
Peck is a unit of measurement used on farms.
How do you know this?
I don't know, but I just do.
Is that why the bird's name is Pickles Bill?
No, that's Pecos Bill. That's based on a Western character.
Is that a Disney character?
Oh yeah, well, Pecos Bill is an old Western tall tale,
Wait.
like Paul Bunyan.
I don't know the stories of Paul Bunyan either.
It's about him and a big ass ox that's blue.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, Paul Bunyan. Yeah, he was a giant, and then he had the big.
That's like I never knew what was his name. Johnny Crockett? No,
Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett. Wait,
Davy
who's
Crockett.
Johnny Crockett.
Johnny Appleseed.
I was thinking of Crockett from Miami Vice.
Which is Sonny Crockett.
Okay. These are all these American folklore things that I,
That's your blind spot.
Yes, it is because I'm Cuban novelas. I mean, you talk to me about novelas, about 80s novelas that we used to sit down and watch. I could tell you all those rhymes and all those riddles, but this part of American folklore.
No, that's your blind spot.
I don't know none of that
How
shit.
about Rip Van Winkle?
Is that the one who stole your children?
What?
Isn't there one that used to come in the middle of the night and eat your kid?
What?
Yes, there was. He was like a little mean little thing.
No. Okay. Wow. This is the part of the show where I disentangle all of the things
Is
that
this
Darian
the
has-
learn part that I'm learning?
Yes. This is the part where Darian meshes everything together and I distangle it.
Okay.
Rip Van Winkle was the guy who fell asleep under a tree or something, and then he woke up and he was like 100 years old when he woke up.
Isn't that the portrait of Dorian Gray?
No, the portrait of Dorian Gray is the guy who the portrait ages instead of him.
Right. Uh-huh.
All right. The one that I think you're thinking of, which I don't know where the eating children comes in, but I think you're thinking of Rumplestiltskin.
Oh, Rumplestiltskin. What did he do?
So Rumplestiltskin, there was una muchacha that she was locked in a tower. They used to do that back then. And because her father, I think, said that she could spin hay into gold. And they were like, great, put her in the tower, make her do it. So she's like, I can't do that. That's like, what the fuck? So she started crying and she's like, oh, I wish somebody could help me. So Rumpelstiltskin shows up and he's like, okay, I can do it. But you have to, ¿cómo era la cosa? But you have to but in exchange for something, and I think it was like, okay, I'll take your child. Like, if I do this and you're gonna marry the prince, you're gonna have a kid, and I get it. She's like, okay, but before that, I want a chance to win the kid back. So he gave her 3 tries to figure out his name. Mm-hmm. I don't know how she got to Rumpelstiltskin, but basically that's I mean,
did she get the kid back?
Yeah, she eventually figured out his name was Rumpelstiltskin, and he.
Okay, who came up with that?
I don't know. They didn't have cable.
And how about the one where? What's the one of the something that somebody helped the town, and then the people in the town didn't pay him back, and then all the kids.
The Pied Piper. That's what I told you about that one.
Were you the one telling me that?
Yeah, the Pied Piper.
Oh, because I was listening to the BTS song. Yes,
right. Yes.
Right. Oh, and you told me about the 3 different versions of it. No, you looked up the versions of it, right?
I was like, wait a minute,
because some of the kids like walked off a cliff,
right? Because I was like, I know he takes the children away, but I don't know if he brings them back or what happens afterwards.
Wait, so Rumpelstiltskin didn't eat the kid?
I don't think he did. I mean, maybe he threatened to eat it, or he like nibbled a toe.
No, I think the one that ate the kids was the grandmother that lived in the gingerbread house.
Well, that was the witch in the gingerbread house. Yes, for Hansel and Gretel.
She ate them?
Well, she didn't. I don't think she wound up eating them. She wanted to, though. She was going to eat them both. And then I think in some tellings, I think that she eats Hansel and then Gretel shoves her in the oven.
Oh, so one of the kids dies.
I think. I don't remember. Because remember, those grim fairy tales were really fucking dark.
Yeah.
So.
Did they write this during the bubonic plague?
Actually, I think they did. Oh. I think they were. Or before, actually, probably. But
these were the tales they used to tell in London.
like Ring Around the Rosie.
What is that about?
Ring Around the Rosie is about the bubonic plague.
It's not about flowers?
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. It's because they would burn the bodies after when you died from the bubonic plague. So that's what the ashes are.
I thought this was about like little girls playing in circles and running around in a circle.
It is,
like Duck Duck Goose.
It is, but the bubonic plague.
Okay, well, that's a lot that I learned today. I didn't know none of that.
I think it's great.
I didn't know none of that. I mean,
to give you a crash course.
During that time, my parents were watching, I don't know, Veronica Castro on TV and Lucia Mende. And,
Lucia Mende with her yellow eyes.
Yeah, that was what I was sitting down watching with my family. They weren't telling me about Rumpelstiltskin.
Although Rumpelstiltskin sounds like it could be a novela.
Yeah. I mean, I knew about El Ratoncito Miguel, but I don't know anything he did either. What did he do?
What did he do?
Listeners, ¿qué hizo Ratoncito Miguel? I don't know what he did. Did he steal something?
No. And it was La Cucarachita Martina.
What is that?
La Cucarachita Martina, oh my God, I'm going to have to ask my dad to retell the story to me. I know it involves her finding a nickel or a peseta. It was a peseta. And I don't remember but I know it was, she found the peseta and it was about how she was going to keep the peseta or spend the peseta or something like that. Yeah.
Something about the peseta.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
No, me neither. That's one that is good. I have to get it down before it's lost to time.
Anyway, what?
Talk about a detour.
Well. That's what I learned today.
Yes. See, look at me. I'm educating even during the podcast.
I'm sure there's some type of content online on YouTube about all of that.
Some content? I'm sure there's way too many content.
Well, you know what, though? Instead of learning that when I was like 5 years old, I was watching Purple Rain.
Oh, okay. Instead of Rumpelstiltskin, you were seeing Apollonia's boobs.
Yeah, and
it's
going to the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Which is probably where Rumpelstiltskin is from.
Minnetonka?
I don't know. It sounds foreign.
That reminds me of one of my favorite things you've ever said.
What?
I mean, we've said the story before of one time when I was randomly, when I'm in my Michigan years, that I was talking on the phone with you. And you're like, "Oh, where are you up to?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm here driving on Frandor, and I'm going to make I'm driving on Frandor, and I'm going to make a turn on Hagedorn." And you're like, "What? Are you a Middle Earth or something?" And I'm like, there was a street called Frandor and Hagedorn.
I swear to God, you were on your way to the Shire.
But there was a Frandor.
I saw it.
I used to take Frandor and Hagedorn to go to the pizza house.
As did Bilbo. Yes.
Bilbo Baggins.
It's actually where Schmeagol left the ring originally. Was at that pizza house.
Como Schmeagol. So anyway, no, back to what we said earlier. I don't have a favorite 300th episode. I can't think of many of them.
They're a blur to me, quite honestly.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them are a blur, especially because since I edit them as well. So for me, it's like just like go, get it out the door.
Yeah. It's funny because when I listen back to certain episodes, like I know what I was thinking at a certain time, and I even know I could listen to randomly and go back to like an episode of 4 years ago, and I could tell you what I was thinking and what I was doing. Well, I know what I was doing, but I will remember when we recorded it. But like when I think of collectively the 300 episodes, I'm like I draw a blank. Like I'm like, okay, wait, well, what? Like
I've started to forget who some of our guests are.
Yeah, me too.
Like when people are like, "Oh, who are your guests?" I always pull out like the same 5. It's either like the ones that made a really big impact, like just name wise, or like the ones that are our friends now.
Yeah,
and then I do across like a mix.
Right. But it's been fun.
It has been fun. Hear that? That's the sound of time just passing by while you wait. And wait to see your doctor for a medical appointment. Now hear that? That's the sound of you walking into Dr. Goodprice and being seen by a professional for that same medical consultation in about 30 minutes. And that's not even the best part. At Dr. Goodprice, a medical consultation is only $35. No insurance, no weird copays that never cover everything, just $35 and minimal wait time. If only keeping a cholesterol in check was this easy, huh? Medical care is important, but it shouldn't be at the cost of your time and money. Dr. Goodprice believes everyone should be able to get affordable medical care on your time. Visit drgoodprice.com today for more info and services.
But yes, pero primos, you have been the best part of it. So
Absolutely.
You have been the best part of it. So this has all made me thirsty.
I can see that, yes.
So
all this talk of Rumplestiltskin and Pied Pipers.
I want to go first in my last soda today. So I want to give a last soda to actually, we were just talking about this before we started recording. And I want to give a last soda to Bill Maher. Okay. And Charlamagne the God.
Well, now there's a duo I'd watch a buddy comedy.
Well, I mean, you know what? No. They're very in line with each other.
Oh, I know.
Right? But the reason I want to give them a last soda is Bill Maher has a new book out this week, and I'm a big fan of Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. I watch it every Friday night. I used to watch Politically Incorrect on ABC. I really like Bill Maher, and Charlamagne the God, The Breakfast Club is one of my favorite radio shows. I actually watch The Breakfast Club. He's great, and the reason why I'm giving it out to both of them is because in 300 episodes, you probably know where I stand politically. I'm a liberal. I always have been. I've always identified as one. But what I really enjoy about them too is that they're not really in line with a lot of the nonsense going on. Right. And they're very like classic liberals and what they call old school liberals. And that's sort of where I fall in line. También, I'm the first one to call out people on my side and be like, yeah, that's crap. Or yeah, tú eres un come mierda.
Calm down.
But I think it's very important, no matter what side of the aisle you're on or your ideological, your political and ideological stand. I think it's very important to call people out within your own side and, be neutral insofar as that if somebody on your side is doing something that you don't think is good for your cause, or somebody in your side is spitting out values and spitting out things and rhetoric that is not true to your values, you need to call that out, even if it's it's somebody on your side. And I think that's very important. It's that accountability that I think that in politics we're missing nowadays. And I think both sides are very much guilty of this, that you will burn the house down to just get somebody on your side to win, or get the last word, or stick it to the other side. And what I really like about Bill Maher specifically, because I watch Bill Maher a lot, is that Bill Maher is the first one to call out the nonsense, even if it's on the Democrats, and Charlamagne as well. Charlamagne calls things like they are, and they get a little bit of pushback from people that it's like, oh, you've changed, and I like how both of them have said, no, we have not changed. If people, not everybody, if some people have changed and gone more one way, that's on them. That's not on us and on me. And they were both on The View this week.
Yeah, both promoting books.
And I just thought they were very symbolic of, the people that politically or ideologically I sort of have a liking to. They're not politicians. They're more like thinkers. I just think we need more people like that in the general just in the general conversation of things. So.
Right.
And not be so tribal.
Yeah, I think they were both very articulate this week on The View. What I liked is that they didn't just kind of show up and was like, well, here's my book, and plug the book and call it a day. They really gave as good as they got. And I think, again, going on The View for anybody can be daunting if you're not up to the challenge. For no other reason than you've got, at times 5 other people just kind of coming at you, like, my turn for a question now, and then you got to rebut, and then this other one's going to make a comment. So it's a little, you have to be prepared for that dynamic. And they both were just like, yeah, no, we're not having it. Like they just, They're
very unbothered almost.
Yeah, they were just like, okay, cool, no.
And I sort of liked what Charlamagne said, that he doesn't need to endorse anyone. Like it's not his job to endorse any candidate, because again, we put so much emphasis on public figures to say certain things and do certain things, and if you have a platform and you want to use that platform, great. But if you choose not to, complicity. They always say complicity and silence is complicity. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that if you have a platform and you want to use it, that's great. But not everybody is ready to publicly take on things, and you have to respect that. Maybe the person that gives them anxiety, maybe they have mental health issues, maybe they don't, especially in this partisan world, they don't want to take something up. They just want to be left alone, right. and you have to respect that as well. And I think that nowadays people are just so quick to just be like, well, you're not saying this, right, so that means this. And it's like, no, that doesn't always mean that.
At all. So this is a good one. This is a good sodas. So speaking of public figures who use their platform, my last soda is actually going to go this week. I've probably given it to him before in the past, but to Louis Aguirre, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast.
People
we love Louis Aguirre.
Absolutely love. I don't know if you saw this week. Louis Aguirre, for those who don't know, Louis Aguirre is like I'm gonna go ahead and give him like a big compliment. As far as I'm concerned, he's almost like the Jacques Cousteau of South Florida environmental causes, in that he's really taken it upon himself to be the advocate, whether it be for Biscayne Bay, the Everglades, just the general trash that's going on all over our beaches. And this week, as part of a report that he did for Local 10, WPLG, he went out with the Miami-Dade Police Marine unit, and they went out to all of the small, there's a name for them and I can't think of it right now. They're like these smaller islands that people tend to like, that's not the word that they used, but it's these little islands that basically, people go out on their boats and then they're like, oh, let's go party over here. So they dock their boat, they go,
and they leave all the trash
and they
behind,
leave all the shit behind, right? So they went and they cleaned all of it up and etc. I'm giving it to him not only because of that, because he drew that attention, but literally the report came out, let's say it came out at the 10 o'clock news on Tuesday. By Wednesday, the county had officially closed off all of those islands.
Yeah.
until they could get a handle on, restoring the nature and the cleanup
Right.
and all that. And so, I give it to Louis because here's somebody who is really using his platform. He really has this, environmentalism is a cause he clearly believes in. He's somebody that I know you and I both respect very much, just in terms of everything he's done for the community down here. And he really affected change. I mean, you can't get more affecting change than
that, yeah.
You did a report on something, and like the next day, within the 24 hours after that, the county declared we need to do something about this. So if I think it's like if you're caught on the islands and like as of this week, someday or whatever, you can get ticketed and fined and whatever. So you know what, Louis, keep fighting the good fight. I mean,
That's awesome.
I know sometimes it can probably seem very daunting to take
Right.
on the environment. But dude, we're a peninsula.
Yeah.
and not only that, but we live off of the tourism that is from the beach.
Yeah, but what's the worst
So,
is that those little
come
islands are not frequented by tourists. Those are frequented by locals.
Right.
And the locals are the ones who do that.
Oh no! I agree. But what I'm saying is, like, if we pollute that, then it pollutes the water. It pollutes it's this trickle down effect.
See, the little island between Star Island and Palm Island has I can never say the word, the
obelisk.
Yes, I can never say the word obelisk. There in by the beach, by Miami Beach. It's really pretty. It's between Star Island and I think the obelisk is a memorial of Henry Flagler. Is it? Well, they call that Beer Can Island because people dock their boats there and they leave so much trash.
There you go.
And it's like,
Why?
Why? Like, when I see a napkin flying in the wind, I chase it, and that's paper, right?
That's biodegradable.
Yeah. And people I don't understand how you could just throw that there, and I mean,
and just not care.
people can be horrible, but thankfully we have somebody like Louis Aguirre,
Absolutely.
championing that and fighting the good fight. So
Absolutely.
bueno, that is it for episode 299. We are out of the 200s.
Yes, we got one more. We got a bonus on Guiando, but then it is
Episode 300. So for you listeners, next week you will be in for a treat. The format is going to be a little bit different for our 300th episode. So Darwin is going to be interviewing us, and we're going to be answering a lot of your questions. And I'm sure things are going to get completely crazy and out of hand, that we're going to be having these really, really hot chicken wings. So it's going to be a little bit different. We're also very important, we have to give a shout out to our really good friend of the podcast, Martha of Miami.
Yes.
We're holding our event at La Sala, which is her event space.
down the street from La Tiendecita.
She's been amazing, and it's going to be a good time. So we really, really are excited about our 300th episode. We can't wait to share it with you all. And as I said, you could hear us cry and watch us cry, because having that hot sauce that we're going to have is just crazy.
Yes,
But-
to bring it back to Friends, it's going to be a treat for the eyes and the ears.
Absolutely. So everybody, we hope you listen, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you so much for joining us, everyone. See you next week for episode 300.
Cuídense. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.